Okay, this video is entitled A Wallet-Free Christmas, and it's a rather alarming report, well, alarmed me anyway, of how the UK government wants to introduce biometrics into your local pub for age verification purposes. Now, what's all this about? Okay, well, we're best starting with here, a quote from the UK Technology Secretary, Peter Kyle. Now, this happened last year, December 2024, and he was promising that this would happen in 2025. So we're starting here because this quote really sets the tone for everything. The government is openly pitching digital identity, including biometric systems, as a sort of festive Happy Christmas upgrade. Merry Christmas from the Home Office or something like that. Basically, you walk into your local pub, you raise a glass, and somewhere in between you handed over your biometric data through a digital identity system. It's been sold as safer, easier and more convenient. Now, they predicted it last Christmas for this Christmas. It hasn't happened, but the government don't generally work to that fast anyway. But it's definitely, it's not speculation, this is a direction of travel. And now let me just show you here. This is the government press release about this issue. And here's Peter Kyle telling you how wonderful it will be able to go in to a pub and use biometrics to buy a pint of Guinness or whatever your chosen tipple. And it's all real, it's all happening. I don't know if you've heard much about it, but it obviously hasn't happened yet, but they were intending it to happen. So let's dig in here. So that's the government pitch, really. And now, let's see how the biometric industry is framing this exact same idea. Because this is the problem, when policy ambition from the government and industry marketing start telling the exact same thing, we need to start asking questions. So, the industry claim, from the biometric industry that is, and let me just show you, here's one from the biometricupdate.com. This is a sort of periodical that the biometric industry all follow, and it says UK pubs to accept digital ID for age assurance by Christmas 2025. Obviously, this hasn't happened. I'm speaking just before Christmas 2025 and there's been no sign, but it could well be here by 2026 unless we stop something happening. So they're saying this is the future the public is crying out for. A modernised pub experience, no more fumbling for a driving licence, just a simple face scan or digital identity token and you're through. They frame this as something we should be delighted about, but I'm not seeing that enthusiasm anywhere outside government press releases and industry PR. So the systems being discussed aren't just digital ID cards, but obviously they're linked with those. They're biometric age estimation tools combined with identity verification apps. So little gadgets where you look at them and they think, oh, that's what your age is. The same technology is being used now for accessing adult sites under the Online Safety Act, and they want to put them in pubs, and presumably stores and restaurants where alcohol is for sale. So yes, it's being told as optional at the moment, but this is always how these systems start. It's how long until optional becomes expected and then mandatory. So this is progress. Be happy. Industry narratives love to paint biometrics as the next great convenience that are going to make our lives much better. The problem is that they very rarely ask whether the public actually want this, or it's simply beneficial and useful for the people who are actually selling biometric systems. Just because a system can be deployed and exists doesn't mean it should be, especially in places where anonymity, let's face it, has always been part of the culture. Pubs are one of the last informal spaces in British life, really. There's no membership, there's no login, no identity trail. You can say hello to your mate, order a pint, sit down, and that's it. As soon as biometrics enter that environment, it becomes a checkpoint. It becomes a very different place. And once you accept that at the bar, it's going to be happening at the clubs, the venues, the supermarkets, and even transport places, getting on a bus. I don't think the demand is there. There's no evidence in my mind, although I was trying to find it, some reports by the government who say everybody's in favour of it, but I need to find those again. But if you need age verification, then surely a driving licence works fine. A bouncer glancing at your ID was fine as I've grown up. I mean, nobody asks me for age ID anymore, unfortunately. So I'm perhaps not the target audience, but why are we introducing complexity and privacy risk to solve a problem that doesn't really exist? This recurring myth that the public is hungry for digital identity is not really shared by the public, I don't think. If you speak to real people, from students to pensioners, I don't know anybody who's asking for this. So, a pint shouldn't require a scan? I don't think so. If someone genuinely wants to use digital ID to buy a pint, well, that's their choice. But the rest of us shouldn't be nudged, pressured, or eventually forced into using biometrics for a day-to-day life. When government and industry start telling us this is a merry step forward, I think it's a time for the public to look at what's being normalised and being forced upon us. Because once biometrics are embedded in everyday routines like going for a drink, getting rid of them is almost impossible. Anyway, that's all for me for now. I just wanted to raise this as I mentioned, it hasn't happened. The government were predicting it was going to happen for December 2025. It hasn't, but watch out in the new year because it's obviously in their plans. The biometric industry are rubbing their hands thinking of the great profits they're going to make, so they're expecting it. So be aware anyway. And thanks for watching. As always, if you want to keep up to date with stuff like this, please subscribe or like, and I'm always interested in comments. So what do you think about this? Okay, bye for now and have a great day, everybody.